my gosh, dude. Wow, what is that, man?
Do you hear about that f***ing object that's hurtling towards Earth?
Scientists are tracking a unique visitor from distant space.
It's going so fast that you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in just 1 minute.
This object is in a direct line to come to Earth in 2027.
Are aliens headed for Earth right now?
A Harvard professor is claiming that the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system isn't natural, and the anomalies he has cataloged are so disturbing that even his fellow scientists cannot fully explain them away. The object, officially named 3I Atlas, is racing through our solar system at speeds that defy everything we expect from ordinary comets. It has no proper tail. Its chemical composition matches nothing in our solar system, and its trajectory, the precise path it carved through space, aligns so perfectly with Earth's orbit that one of Harvard's most decorated astrophysicists has calculated the probability of that happening by chance as roughly 1 in 20,000. NASA says it's just a comet, but Professor Avi Loeb says the evidence tells a far more unsettling story. Share this with everyone you know, because on July 1st, 2025, a NASA-funded telescope called the Atlas Survey Station in Rio Hurtado, Chile, spotted a faint, fast-moving object streaking across the dense star fields near the galactic plane. Scientists immediately noticed something wrong. The object's eccentricity, the mathematical measure of how curved its path is, registered at 614, the highest ever recorded for any interstellar object. That number alone confirmed it hadn't come from our solar system. It came from somewhere out there, from another star system entirely, and it was heading directly toward the inner solar system at 137,000 miles per hour, the fastest speed ever recorded for any interstellar visitor in human history. Before we break down exactly what Avi Loeb found and why NASA's response left the scientific world stunned, please make sure you subscribe to Vault of Discovery. We are giving you the real analysis that the mainstream refuses to touch. 3I Atlas immediately became only the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed passing through our solar system, following 1I Oumuamua, discovered in 2017, and 2I Borisov, discovered in 2019. Astronomers using the Hubble Space Telescope on July 21, 2025, captured the first close images. A teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust surrounding an icy nucleus estimated to be somewhere between 1,400 feet and 3.5 miles wide. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope then pointed its near-infrared spectrograph at the object on August 6, 2025, and the spectral data that came back stopped researchers cold. The ratio of carbon dioxide to water ice, two of the defining markers scientists use to classify comets, registered at approximately 8:1. That is one of the highest ratios ever measured in any comet, natural or otherwise. The chemistry of 3I Atlas was unlike anything formed in our solar system. Think about what this actually means. NASA's own test spacecraft had been unknowingly imaging 3I Atlas since May 7, 2025, nearly 2 full months before anyone officially discovered it. Those pre-discovery images revealed the object was already exhibiting intense cometary activity when it was 6.4 astronomical units from the Sun, farther away than Jupiter. Normal comets don't wake up that far from the Sun. Water ice doesn't sublimate at that distance. Something else was driving 3I Atlas, something scientists immediately struggled to explain. James Webb later confirmed methane ice buried deep beneath the object's surface, only exposed after the comet warmed near the Sun, suggesting a layered interior with chemical conditions formed under circumstances completely alien to our solar neighborhood. But here's the first shocking twist. When Professor Avi Loeb, the Frank B. Baird Jr. Professor of Science at Harvard University, head of the Galileo Project, and one of the most published astrophysicists in the world, began analyzing 3I Atlas's trajectory, he found something that made ordinary comet classifications impossible to defend. The retrograde orbital plane of 3I Atlas around the Sun lies within 5 degrees of Earth's own orbital path. The probability of that coincidence occurring randomly, out of all possible orbital orientations in 3-dimensional space, is just 0.2%. But the precision didn't stop there. 3I Atlas then proceeded to make unusually close passes to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. 3 separate planets within a single year. Loeb calculated the probability of that multi-planet alignment occurring by random chance at 1 in 20,000. "It's moving too fast to be bound by the sun's gravity," Loeb told NewsNation, breaking a typically seen orbital trajectory. The flight path was so precisely calibrated that Loeb stated publicly what few scientists were willing to say out loud, that the odds of a natural rock threading that particular path through our planetary system by pure coincidence are essentially negligible. Think about what Loeb was actually proposing, using his own rating system, called the Loeb scale, where 0 represents a completely natural object and 10 represents confirmed alien technology. He placed 3I Atlas at a 6 out of 10, more likely engineered than natural. He then published his analysis and cataloged not 1 or 2 anomalies, but 13 separate features of 3I Atlas that challenge the natural comet classification, including its enormous suspected mass, its highly improbable trajectory, tightly collimated jets pointing toward and away from the sun, and a gas composition containing more nickel than iron, a ratio orders of magnitude higher than any known comet in recorded astronomical history. Then came the second devastating revelation. When 3I Atlas reached perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, on October 29, 2025, something remarkable happened. It disappeared from Earth-based telescopes entirely, hidden behind the sun. Loeb found this deeply suspicious. This could be intentional to avoid detailed observations from Earth-based telescopes, he stated. While NASA had deployed a fleet of spacecraft, Hubble, James Webb, SphereX, TESS, MAVEN, Lucy, Psyche, and Stereo, to track the object even during its solar passage, Loeb argued the perihelion timing was itself an anomaly worth investigating. He warned that if 3I Atlas was technological in nature, it could potentially use that hidden window to deploy smaller probes or alter its trajectory in ways undetectable from Earth's surface. Loeb also highlighted one feature that stunned the astronomical community when amateur astronomers first documented it. 3I Atlas was exhibiting an anti-tail, a jet of material pointing directly toward the sun rather than away from it. Normal comets develop tails that stream away from the sun driven by solar wind pressure. An anti-tail pointing sunward violates the basic physics of how natural comets behave. NASA explained it as a projection effect, a geometric illusion created by Earth's viewing angle relative to the object. Loeb disagreed, arguing the explanation was premature. "We should not decide about the nature of 3I Atlas based on the chemical composition of its skin," he wrote. "For the same reason, we should not judge a book by its cover." But the third twist changes everything about NASA's public response. In November 2025, NASA held a live-streamed press conference specifically to address growing public alarm about 3I Atlas. Associate Administrator Amit Kshatriya stood before the cameras and made the agency's position unambiguous. "This object is a comet," Kshatriya stated flatly. "It looks and behaves like a comet, and all evidence points towards it being a comet." NASA then declared the matter closed. Loeb was furious. In a scathing blog post following the press conference, he accused NASA of repeating an official mantra and criticized the agency for claiming there was no big news. He quoted Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, "There is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact," effectively accusing NASA of prematurely shutting down legitimate scientific inquiry rather than engaging with the anomalies he had documented. Think about the implications of that confrontation. Avi Loeb is not a fringe theorist. He has published over 800 scientific papers, chaired Harvard's astronomy department, and directs the Institute for Theory and Computation at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. When Loeb argued that NASA should have emphasized what we do not understand about 3I Atlas rather than insist that it is a familiar comet from a new birth environment, he was issuing a scientific challenge, not a conspiracy theory. Oxford astrophysicist Chris Lintott fired back, calling Loeb's suggestion absolute nonsense and an insult to the exciting work that is being done to understand this object. Richard Moisel, head of planetary defense at the European Space Agency, added that there have been no signs pointing to non-natural origins of 3I Atlas in the available observations. The scientific establishment had drawn its line. Then, intelligence agencies, or rather, Loeb's own research team, revealed the final game-changing piece of analysis. Loeb and co-researchers from the Initiative for Interstellar Studies published calculations showing that on January 22, 2026, Earth would be nearly aligned with the Sun from the vantage point of 3I Atlas, with the object just 2.35 astronomical units from our planet. Loeb's team proposed what they called the SPY hypothesis, that 3I Atlas could be a technological probe designed specifically to observe transit signatures of planetary atmospheres, including industrial pollution markers like chlorofluorocarbons that would reveal the presence of technological civilizations. Loeb had actually published a paper exploring exactly this concept back in 2014, calculating how an advanced civilization might detect industrial pollution on Earth from deep space. An object following 3I Atlas's precise retrograde trajectory aligned with the ecliptic plane would be ideally positioned to execute exactly that kind of planetary surveillance. The SPY hypothesis faces its ultimate scientific test in March 2026, when 3I Atlas makes an exceptionally close pass to Jupiter's moon Euphemy. Loeb predicts that if the object is technological rather than natural, this encounter could trigger the release of daughter probes into orbit, a maneuver that would be physically impossible for a natural comet traveling at relative speeds of 66 kilometers per second. Meanwhile, the International Asteroid Warning Network has launched a global observation campaign involving more than 80 observatories tracking 3I Atlas's precise composition, reflectivity, and motion as it exits our solar system. 3I Atlas has now left our solar system, but the 13 anomalies Avi Loeb documented, from its impossible trajectory to its sunward anti-tail, remain unexplained by any published scientific paper. When the NSFDOE Rubin Observatory in Chile comes fully online, scientists predict it will detect dozens more interstellar objects passing through our neighborhood, forcing humanity to finally build the frameworks Loeb has been demanding. Until then, the question that cannot be silenced is simple. If 3I Atlas was natural, why did the universe need 1 in 20,000 odds to deliver it straight to our doorstep?